Hi, my name's Dave Coppola. I'm the brother of Andrew Coppola. Well, Andrew was diagnosed a long time ago. This was before my diagnoses, and it was kind of weird at that time. Like, I always grew up with Andrew. I would always play with him. He'd always be my brother. Blah blah blah. Stuff went on. We tussled. We didn't. We'd watch TV. I annoy him. He annoyed me, like brothers do. And like when he was diagnosed, it kind of took it out of me. Like I didn't have like my buddy there anymore, kind of.
Hi everybody, my name is Lindsay. My cousins Andrew and David were both diagnosed with Niemann-Pick type C. And I wanted to do this video on this documentary because, not only just because I'm a film major and I'm into that kind of stuff, but it's just because I think before any of our family knew that Andrew and David were diagnosed with this, none of us knew what Niemann-Pick was, or, you know what I mean? It's a very rare disease and not many people do know what it is. And I think that it's important, coming from families and people that are a part of and are involved with people that are diagnosed with this kind of disease. I think it's up to us to spread awareness, because when it comes to rare diseases just like this, it's hard to find recognition in, you know, treatments and support centers, everything across the map. It starts from right here. So I think that doing a documentary and doing a video like this can only help.
Well, I first met Andrew and his family when Andrew was in my class in second grade. I was a second grade teacher. And his mom, Kim, was really involved. She would help me out in the classroom. And so I knew Andrew had a very supportive family. His parents would really work with him to get his homework done on time and help him with studying. And Andrew had such a sweet, sweet personality, and still does. But I mean, that's what really impressed me the most when I met Andrew. And so he was just so invested in his learning and always willing to do everything he had to do. So he was a conscientious student. So when there were times when he struggled with learning and wasn't successful, it didn't make sense, because he had all the ingredients to be a successful learner. Even if things are hard for students, if the student is invested in his learning and if he has a good, strong support system at home, then students will be successful, even when things are hard. So it kind of was puzzling to me when things were a little bit difficult for him.
BOMBERENT.
What are you spelling?
Baltimore.
How did you just spell Baltimore?
BENNIMENT.
All right, how do you spell Orioles?
ORLES.
Andrew never noticed anything at all when he was a kid, just that he was loaded with energy and kind of swinging on the ceiling. But he was a great kid, you know, he had never had any fear of anything, just always running around doing whatever he could do. And I guess as the years went on, there were, you know, a few years in between where we didn't see each other much, and I actually moved to North Carolina 6 years ago. So it was me basically seeing them once a year. The week of 4th of July, we would always go to Mayor's Beach House and spend the week there. So within, you know, those 6 years, little things, you know, we would notice would be like hand movements, or, you know, the way his mouth would move, or, you know, slur words, things like that. But you don't really think anything of it. You just think, you know, maybe that's a person's personality.
Let me just rewind. I think that growing up, when you're around your cousins and stuff, even if like your cousin has a stuttering problem, or even if, you know, like anything like that, you don't really point it out and notice it when it's your family. It's something that you just kind of, it's a part of who that person is. So growing up, and when I used to just hang out with, you know, my cousin Andrew, he was definitely a little off. I think a lot of things that he did were a little, there was something off about it. It wasn't something that you could just pinpoint. So we just thought it was him. And I was like, well, whatever, this is awesome. This is my cousin. He's the coolest person because he just does whatever he wants and he has the best time doing it. And I want to be more like him when I grow up. And that's just what we kind of went on about as we grew up. We just thought it was a part of who he was. And I think as we got older and stuff, I think that's when, not only when we started to realize, okay, then there's something, this clearly isn't right, there's something wrong here. I think that recognition, along with the progression of the disease that we didn't know about at the time, taking its toll, I think that that's when we knew that something was up.
3, 4, 5. Whoops.
Let me dry this off.
Really wonder what David or Ricky.
Hi, my name is Jane Thompson, and I've known the Coppola family for almost 30 years now, and I've known the boys since they were both babies and have seen them both grow and mature and through the different stages, just watching their development and just seeing maybe vague behavior that we just didn't understand maybe what was going on and why their interactions maybe were a little bit different as they've participated in activities, maybe the balance being a little bit off and going through testing and wondering what was really going on and just trying to look for an answer through the doctors and praying that we could find a diagnosis has been hard over these last few years, and finally getting a diagnosis has even been harder, and just looking now towards how medication and the doctors can intervene to slow this disease and allow the boys to continue to grow and mature into adulthood is really what we're looking to see next, and just praying really for a real miracle to occur and for this disease to stop the progression. That's what we look forward to.
There's a time when you need to call in other professionals who are trained, school psychologists who can do a psychological evaluation and tease out what are the things that are working against a student, and not just to find what's wrong. You know, it's very important when you get a psychological evaluation to also look at the strengths, because then you can see those are keys to how you can help a child to learn, an individual to grow and have a successful academic experience, because those strengths are how a student will learn best. And Kim and her husband really just seem to know how to support Andrew in his learning and help him. And so through the years, it's just been interesting to watch and just a joy to my heart. But then it was really sad to find out that it was not, Andrew wasn't struggling against a learning disability. It was much more serious. And I started out in special education and understood special needs as a professional. And then the year that I taught Andrew, back in, I guess it was 2003, was when I was identified with multiple sclerosis. So now, on a personal level, I understand cognition difficulties. Those cognition difficulties have made it impossible for me to teach second grade any longer, so I moved on to teaching at a college level. So I really understand there are invisible symptoms that are difficult for a parent or even educators to notice.
As much as I would just like to avoid that kind of thing and just, be like, you know what, let's just, who cares? Who cares about this disease? Let's just live our lives as if we always did. Let's just kick it like cousins, like we've always done. I think it's hard because obviously the disease has progressed, and now my younger cousin David has also been diagnosed. It's hard to kind of digest that, because seeing my cousin now, I'm a senior in college, and when I was a freshman, seeing my cousin Andrew, he was just the same old guy. He was cool, and we knew about the diagnosis. And at that point, I was like, you know what? Who cares about this? Who cares about this? This is my cousin, and this is how it's going to stay. And I was so true to that. And what really just kind of got to me was when I came back from, I think it was my sophomore year. I think it was during maybe Thanksgiving break. The progression of the disease got pretty bad. There's a point where it was almost as if he was just a robot, and I think at that moment it felt like I lost my cousin for a minute. And a part of me did, part of me did, because I don't think he'll ever be the same. But that's why I'm making this video. It's because I think that bonds you have with your family, and I'm not saying that everybody has to be tight with the family, but there's got to be at least that one person in your family that you really just look up to, and maybe it's a person that's younger than you. In this case, my cousin's younger than me. I looked up to him because, and I still do, because he's the kind of person that is him, that is his kind of person. He's not anyone else's kind of person. He lives for himself, and he does what he wants to do, and he enjoys it. He enjoys life, no matter what. And I still look up to him to this day, because amidst of all, you know, everything that's happening, I think that's the one thing that hasn't changed, that I've noticed him as I've seen him more and more. There's still that spark of Andrew that won't ever be taken away, no matter what disease. So I think that doing this documentary is great and everything, but I think that no matter what happens, there's always going to be that spark in Andrew that is Andrew, and no one ever can replace that. No disease can take that away, and it's never going to change. That's who he is, and I am 100% proud to call him my cousin. So.
Well, I guess about 6 weeks ago we got a letter from Kim and Brian starting the Coppola Foundation to raise awareness for the disease. And when Kim first told us that Andrew had this disease, it was like, he has what? And it's how rare? And then, put the puzzle pieces together. So her and Brian and everybody else that's on the board who were doing this, it was wonderful. They started out with a no bake sale where you don't have to do anything but send money. You don't have to fundraise. You don't have to do anything. And they already started with doing awesome crafts and just doing everything they can, to raise awareness, getting together with other people who have this rare illness, and just how strong they are as parents, because not only having one child but having two children diagnosed with this is unfathomable, and I just can't imagine how they feel.
There's a lot of sorrow that a parent goes through watching their child with any kind of serious condition. You feel helpless. But there can be peace which passes understanding in the midst of sorrow. And there can be hope. God offers abundant hope in the midst of a hopeless, helpless situation. So, as sad as I am for the Coppolas, I'm encouraged because I know they'll be okay, because God is still on the throne.
For crafts.
Oh, yes?
Yeah. But I happen to read.
So what are these exactly?
Oh, they're this is like my favorite one.
I like that.
It's the colors of the rainbow, which are the Niemann-Pick Foundation colors. So they're pull cords for your name tags. So you would hook them on your jacket or whatever, and then even people use it for a key as well. So you had to put a key on the end of it. But we've made them in lots of different colors, and this happens to be like Andrew's favorite Miami Dolphins team. So we got dolphin colors going on, red and white for the Phillies. We even had some with
that's a nice one.
red, white, and blue. The springtime is here. We'll be able to launch the spring with the flowers. And they are just the tops from medicine vials at work in the hospital. So I have the floors saving, and we have plenty of stock so that we can work real hard.
And like, one thing was like, Andrew, like, he lost his like willingness or drive to do anything. He always wanted to do something, whether it was to call up his best friend Shane, or go outside and swim, or do something fun. Now, all days, now he just wants to sit home and watch TV. If that was the one thing I could change, most definitely I would change that. Now, Andrew being my brother, I gotta live with him full time, all the time. He's a handful for sure, but love him for it.
Andrew, what do you think one of your favorites
You never know.
What do you never know?
You never know how your life will turn out.
I want to raise enough money so we can cure Niemann-Pick. Like, it's like crazy, the stuff we go through. Like, there's cancer. Cancer's curable nowadays with chemotherapy. I don't know what they're talking about. Find an answer to cancer. I don't know. Like, I got God, so that's all I care about. So, yeah, that's about it.